Hey, what's up, guys? With another Unity tutorial here by Wardon. Now, today's lesson will be over how I created something of the nature using inheritance. Now, the script that I want you guys to be able to learn and use as we go forward is an inherited base script. And what I mean by that is take our light gunner here. Huh. um, See how it's got its values and everything, block, run, what guns we have, all these things, and they're nice and convenient in a single script. Reload key, joystick key for reloading, fire key, and we can put more stuff in there and everything else, but I wanted to show how the relationships of all those inherited classes actually work. And it's going to be very important because this is going to make it very easy for us and very versatile moving forward. Because we're not going to have to look up a bunch of components or anything like that. We can just call the functions directly by getting one component instead of like 10. Okay? And this is good for us because, well, like anything else, if the less calls, the faster your program runs and the better you can get things. So, in the classification for it, we can get looking at this. Okay, so what I have here is a behavior tree, and you notice that every one of them has names. Names of certain things, where they go, what child classes, and things like that. But you see, we have light gunner here. And the thing about it is, if you go all the way up the tree, it goes mono behavior, player mono behavior, war utilities, then player event, then weapon manager. And then from weapon manager, you see we got a line that goes directly from weapon manager all the way to light gunner, right? See? And it goes in this order as well, because that's how it's set up. Okay, and these are all classes. Okay, light gunner, heavy, sniper, tiny killer, spy, whatever. Because in every game, like, I don't know, CSGO to Perfect Dark to whatever throughout history, there's always a bunch of variances between the characters. And some characters can do things, other characters can't. And, well, that variance and changing and customizing is very important in gaming industry right now, because if you don't have any type of boundaries, then it gets kind of boring really quick because everything's all the same. And two, here's another thing. Let's say I started playing a heavy gunner class, okay? That's fine and everything else, but I start to get bored with it. So I start up a new game and I'm like, well, I want to play as a speed guy now, right? Because it's a completely different format, different weapons, and some pretty cool stuff, right? So it's like the same game, but in a different perspective, right? Or maybe I want to be this tiny killer that's an alien that has all alien energy weapons, which could be cool, but he's really, really slow. But he's just super epic when he's got emos, taunts and stuff, and he starts dancing around, and he's called Elvis or whatnot. I mean, whatever, right? And the beauty about this is I only have to write this class right here, because all the logic is already written for me. Mono, this, and to here. So if I wanted to push functions in from Wish you could name them when this is maximized like this, but you can't, which kind of sucks. So let's make another state right here as an example, and let's see UI for our bags. What we have in our bags, okay? So we go in here and we have our UI class that we're going to drag over and say, hey, we want all these weapons to be available and stuff. But the problem is we don't want to go from here to here and then here to here and from here. You know, that's just dumb, right? We don't want to do that because we have to do a get component to speed, get component, and that becomes very cumbersome, okay? Because we've got all these types and all that junk. I mean, it just sucks. And we don't want to make an entire script that's like 500 lines for each one of these, because then anything that we have for our item classes where we get items, we buy items, sell items and stuff, we can't do anything with it because we have to do, hey, do we have speed guide? Do we have this? Do we have this? Do we have this? And, you know, that's just sucky, okay? So, when using inheritance, and we have these functions, well, we inherit from here, right? Everything inherits from here, and it goes on. And we get all the functions from here all the way up to here. Well, if this right here spawns our weapons, and, you know, these right here say, hey, we reject these types of weapons and stuff, then the best thing that we can do is make it go UI, go to Weapon Manager, and the UI pushes it to Weapon Manager. Well, Weapon Manager has a weapon code, right? That's how we coded it. Weapon Manager will spawn in a weapon, and that's all it cares about, right? It takes the parameters of the string or a game object, anything that we code into that. We overwrite them here and tell what it's supposed to do with it. So this class is responsible and can be coded for each individual weapon. But like I said, we took this code, pushed it to Weapon Manager in a function, used the overrides here to do what needs to be done for each individual class. So when we go here, all we got to do is push what weapon? A string name, right? String name, nothing. We don't even care. It just pushes the string here, and the inventory or bags or whatever you want to call it, its only responsibility is pushing and tracking our stuff. So it'll track all the items that we have, and when we want it onto our guy, all we got to do is push it to this class. And then let the inherit function that we override do the rest. So we don't have to do any case studies or anything like that. It just shortcuts every stupid get component, check if it's null, get component, check null, get component. All these like 10, 15, maybe you got 100 different cases. You know, who knows? I don't know how you code your game, but it's great because we have the functionality that we need, right? So the UI system, very light and easy to work with, and we only have to go and get component for the Weapon Manager, and it does. And because we coded it that way, we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different things. You know, you could have 100 over here. It won't matter. The UI system doesn't have to care about typecasting, or any of that other garbage. It just cares about this one right here. And another example. Okay, we've got inputs here. Alright. Then we have a base weapon. This base weapon has functions like ray casting and, pushing a button comes from here. So, it's got maybe a spear cast, maybe a ray cast. Maybe you have it shoot rigid body bullets. Okay. You have all the base functionality in there, but you don't call it in here. You just have basic functions. Okay. Like basic fire 1. Hey, fire 1 gets a new ray, shoots the ray in direction .4. Pretty simple. Okay. But in this, the fire function gets overwritten to shotgun with melee. So we have different functionalities we can call in here. Then an M16. Well, guess what? M16 only needs the ray cast, or maybe just the rigid body bullets. Well, the code for the shooting is in here, but we use this to go, hey, in update, get button down, shoot ray cast. Okay. Well, then, because melee is programmed into here, like we hit the button and it does spear cast and maybe like 0.1 in front of us. Well, we have this melee here. Okay. Well, then I want the melee to be able to kill a wall. Alright. Well, that's a slight modification in code. So we'll call the base class from here. We'll call this one, but then we add a little extra on that destroys walls. Well, that's cool and everything, but now we've got this melee god mode. We can hit anything and destroy anything that we want. Just destroys walls that are destructible, people, you just instant kill them, game over, whatever, right? We're God mode. And God mode doesn't have to worry about this code, this code, this code, this code, this code, this code, or this code, right? Because we'll probably only have, maybe 3 lines of code in here. If get button down, play the animation, boom, instant dead. Bam, done. Game over. So you see how inheritance works. Is all the code from here, 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 here is taken care of for us. And here, we just tell it, hey, run these lines. An example of that is very, very simple. Okay, let's look at some code. Alright. And we are going to discuss how this works. Alright. So, in our thing, we've got player, which is a mono behavior. Well, look, we've got a vector3 function that just returns a direction. So, we just set it, we get the direction, do the speed. Hey, if GIMP button down, we add some speed, and this is for gravity and time.delta time, and we just return. Yeah, pretty simple stuff. I mean, this would be probably in your player controller script, right? Yeah, that sounds, pretty legit, right? Well, this class takes care of all that stuff for us. So we don't have to do it, right? It just is taken care of for us, and that's all good. And I'm like, well, that's really nice, because in a later script, like in here, we get a little ambiguity. Alright. And mouse looky, initial, okay. Now we have bool running, that's okay, yeah. And then we have this update. And take a look at this. Transform direction equals player walk, run, jump. We pass it our speed variable or jump, input values and stuff. And then we go controller.move, and we give it the transform direction that we just got from here, and time.delta time for the time thing. Wow, that's 2 lines of code. Okay? 2 lines of code for making the player move around and jump. Okay? And you know, we're gonna have different variances of this. So this line of code right here is probably going to be used quite often. So instead of writing this junk 100 times, we make a function where we can call it like this. Okay? And so this is Light Gunner that inherits from Weapon Manager. So if we look in our Unity here, Light Gunner inherits from Weapon Manager, but it also inherits from player events, war utilities, player mono behavior, and mono behavior itself. So it's got all the stuff from here, 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 and itself. Okay? So it's got basically anything that it wants to do for a player controller, right? Goody. So let's go into some code. Okay, so we've discussed player mono behavior. All right. No start or nothing, just a basic function with these 2 things, which everything is going to need inputs. I mean, everything needs inputs. I mean, there's no sense in denying it, right? We're going to need input values. Okay, so we're going to go from here, and we're going to look at war utilities. War utilities is inheriting from player mono behavior, which it gets everything from this script. It gets these variables, and it also has all these functions that we can now call because our parent is the war mono behavior. So it's got access to both these classes. Everything in these 2 classes it can call now. We can't call anything from player mono behavior. Like if we wanted something from our war utilities, we're not able to call them from here. As an example, this war clamp, look, we'll go down here and we'll put war mono behavior dot war clamp. And we don't have access to any of that unless we instantiate a copy of it, right? But here's the beauty of this. If we go to war utilities, we can call stuff from player mono behavior. So as an example here, let's get out of here. We can call, what's this thing called? Player walk run stuff. So we can go player walk run jump. Okay? And we can do the overloads and all that stuff. Okay? And we can call that. And it'll do a vector 3 and all that good stuff. But we can't go backwards. You know, well, we can go backwards to this one, but we can't do anything else. So, war utilities, now we're going to look at here. Okay, so war utilities, we're inheriting on the player event system to war utilities. So we can call stuff from this and this. Okay? We're not at the moment, but we could, right? Now we have some virtual delegates and stuff like that, and that's all good. Now we have another variable that's always going to be inherited if we inherit from player event slotted. We'll also have a reference to the character controller, okay? Now, the first time you see this, you'll be like, why did you put the virtual start here? Well, there's a good explanation for it. This is where the start method actually starts. And what do I mean by that? That's a perfectly legit question. Okay? So it starts here. So the start methods aren't here. Okay? They don't have anything. But it's virtual here. So if I go into my weapon manager class and I wanted to just skip over, like not have any of the functions out of this start class, then I would just go public override and not call base.start, right? Because when I override, this becomes the primary start. Unless I call base.start, this start will not run. Okay? When you override something, this becomes the primary until you come over here to these scripts and go public override start. I hope that makes sense. This doesn't have an override in start. This becomes your primary for the start when it's virtual like this. If you never put a virtual start here, then it just doesn't get called. Okay, if you try to push like another start method in here that's not overwritten, I don't think this one will be called at all. I think this one will be still the primary. But don't quote me on that. I forget how that goes. I'm pretty sure this one will just be ignored, but I could be wrong. So the start method here, then you override, and if you don't override here, this becomes the primary start. Now if I call base.start, it will go up to daisy chain to this one and go, hey, my start method is executed. Do you have a base.start? No, I don't. This is where the start method originated from, the virtual method for start. But if it wasn't here, if it didn't start here, let's say if it started here, we can have the override here and call base.start, then have another override start. But if this isn't called in base.start, then it doesn't go any further up the chain. Okay? You have to have, in order to go from here back upward, you have to have a base.start. Okay? Keep that in mind. It also works like that for updating. Okay? Any type of update and stuff like that, it goes up the chain just like that, from where that originated from. So I hope that makes it very clear. And I'll have an example of it pretty soon. This is an update. This is where this starts. Okay? As an example of the update issue, I'm going to go up here to a light gunner here. We have an update here. Okay? See how this does a base.start? Well, here's an update. Okay? I'm going to disable this. Okay? And do a compile and run and stuff, right? Go on here and open up my game menu, and like I said, if I disable the base.start, it won't go up the daisy chain from light guns to this, okay? So when I start this game, I shouldn't be able to do anything, right? I mean, I've got a little bit of this, but look, if I go into my inputs, notice that my lock cursor doesn't work anymore, and I'm sitting here typing, like, trying to move. Literally. Nothing. Dead in the water. And you're probably like, man, this is broken, this sucks. It's because you're not going up the chain like you're supposed to. So, as a further explanation, we overrided the update, okay? But we didn't call base.start. So, I get no updates from any of these all the way up till I reach where the update started, which it started here. So, it's like, hey, it asks Weapon Manager, hey, I call base.start. Do you have an update method that's overwritten? If it does not exist in this script, I did not write public override update, it will skip this and go to the next one up. And go, hey, do you have this update? Hey, guess what, buddy? You originated from me, so yeah, I got the stuff. I'll run. Cool. So there you go. And that's how that works. And, alright, well, I'll do that again. Light gunner, if the overrated function doesn't exist in here, it goes to the event. Alright, pretty simple stuff. So let's go into the code itself. And let's uncheck this. Just to show you I'm not BSing you here. Okay, now we go into the game, and this should work just fine now. I pretty much know it will, but I just want to show you this is how you do it, right? Because, if you're not used to it, then it could turn out all bad for you. So now, I go in here. Oh, guess what? I can move. I can jump and do all kinds of crazy stuff, right? Shoot. Boom. There we go. Shoot. Okay, everything works as intended. That's all. So, I don't know what's up with my profiler. It just sucks. So, everything works as it's intended. So, that's kind of cool, right? I mean, it gets its update, it does all that, and here's my point of this. Okay, look at this light gunner class. I mean, look at it. Light gunner, we got some slots here, we got an override which deals with our weapons, right? This is what weapons get spawned in and how they get spawned. We got some variables for speed and stuff, and weapon mouse, okay. We got a start method, which also calls base, remember. And we got our update, which is an override, okay. And just a few lines of code, right? This deals with all my movement, right here. This is what I had to write into the, well, it's even less code if you delete this. And even less code if you delete this, because it's not needed. Whee! Go back. There we go. Man, come on, work with me, editor. Okay, and look, movement code. Very, very minimal, right? That's minimal. I mean, that's beautiful, right? And if I want to make a different character with different functionalities, all I gotta do is write this script, which is hardly anything. I mean, it's marvelous, So, all those different types of characters, different gun types, and what they do, all in one script. All the functions to do that stuff is in other scripts, but the major bulk of it, writing code to do what it needs to do for slot weapons and things, all right here, which is really, really small. Okay, how many lines is it? It is 137 lines. Woo! Which it could be even less if I didn't have all these spaces, but it's really clean, and that's the point of it. It's really clean code. Okay, so we done the events, the update. Okay, we talked about how it gets used in the editor, right? And I think that's pretty much it. I mean, it's relatively easy. And just for your reference and everything else, I'm going to show you this tree one more time, okay? Because this is the architecture that we're going to use. Maybe not this stuff over here, okay? Not this stuff. Ignore this stuff. This is just example stuff. Put this all the way over here. But this stuff right here, this is the actual architecture that we're going to do. That's going to give us beautiful results when it comes to variances for characters, okay? Like I said, do you want to write probably 200 lines of code for each character, or do you want to write all the code every character you have, or make all your characters the same character, just different models? Well, I don't know about you, but I'm going to take this approach. If you want to do the other thing, then, you know, do your thingy or whatever. But I'm going to stick with this. And moving forward in this kit, I'm going to work with this. Now, if this is a very good approach. You can do interfaces, okay? This can all be single scripts, but the stuff for the UI, you can push into an interface, but you still have issues because you're going to have interfaces everywhere to do stuff. But it is possible, don't get me wrong. But like I said, using these small scripts to do the bulk of the job, and then just use these to tell it what to do with it, is a very nice approach. And I think moving forward, you guys will see and reap the benefits from it. But yeah. So if you don't understand what's inherited in the project right now, or you want to like make your project that you've been doing since the beginning of this, and you've got all this extra code and stuff, this is the exact way that it goes. Mono behavior and player mono behavior. Player mono behavior, okay, in the code window, remember, it's where the mono behavior stuff starts. It's a mono behavior. The only reason I have that bubble here is to make sure that you guys know this script is a mono behavior. Okay? This script right here inherits from mono behavior. So you're not thinking it's a pure class, oh, you can't use it, blah, blah, blah. No, no, nope. Nope, it's not that way. Not that way at all. So this is exactly how it's going to work and things. So using this graph, you'll figure out how everything interconnects, because it actually goes in this order. You're going to have your heavy gunner inherit from weapon manager, then the events, then utilities, then your mono behavior. Your UI system has no inheritance right now and just pushes stuff to the weapon manager. Now, before too long, we may have another script in here. And what I'm thinking is going here in between our player event thing, going here and saying interactions, okay? And what interactions is going to be like, and this is where I'm thinking it's going to go, but the interaction system isn't exactly, I haven't programmed too much of it yet, so I haven't integrated this into anything yet besides the UI system, okay? But it calls functions from the UI system, so they're completely different scripts. But where I'm thinking about putting it is in here, like this, using inheritance to go around like this. The event system to interactions to weapon manager, okay? Because it needs all the stuff from the input, and then we push, hey, did an event happen for interactions? Yes or no? Hey, weapon manager needs to know all the stuff from here and here. Because when we do an interaction, I'm going to tell the weapon manager not to work anymore. Okay? But that's my theory now on where that goes. But we have to work with the interaction system a lot more. Because it's you know, like a Betty version, like 0.01, you know, the buggiest. So we've got some bugs to work out for it, but like I said, and like I showed you guys, it's very versatile for cars, for doors, for windows, for maybe triggering a chest on the ground. I mean, you know, it's kind of beautiful in that way. So if you guys, you know, are interested in this kit, the way it sits and everything, then, you know, you're interested. But make sure you like, hit subscribe and stuff, because it helps the channel. And it also tells me what you guys are interested in. So, you know, certain issues, certain things that people are looking for coded wise, you know, because a lot of my scripts I'm writing just shooting in the dark, okay? I don't know what people are interested in when it comes to content. But hopefully you guys like this video, and moving forward, the next video is going to be telling you how the weapon system inheritance works, so that we can make different variances of weapons, you know, like machine guns to melee to whatever, right? Because the next steps for these are all going to be coding, right? Right. And make sure that you guys take a screenshot of this, you know, that way when you get lost or something like that, you don't have to go rewatch the video, okay, because that would kind of suck. Just, you know, look up your screenshot and be like, okay, I'll see how this goes, because I'm going to use this as, I'm going to update this as needed, so that way I can track, hey, where's this stuff go? You know, what's this stuff do? And this is a good way, if you're using inheritance, that you can, like, you know, keep track of stuff. I mean, it doesn't have to go in our character. And I don't want to use like a bubble sheet or something like that in a program, because that sucks, right? Because if I go to change something and it's a picture, well, guess what? I can't change it. So, and most of the time, those programs cost. This doesn't cost me anything. It's useful. So, thank you guys for watching. Like, hit, subscribe. This is Wardon over and out. And take care, guys. And, you know, keep on coding and keep on trying. You'll learn. You know, you'll get it. Just don't give up. I promise you, it'll be worth it in the end. Peace. I'm out.